Scotiabank just released a report that the Bank of Canada's rates are 2% higher than they should be because the Canadian government's spending. And a lot of that, as we know and we discussed in previous videos, was done during the beginning of the pandemic when the government was handing out checks to citizens who were of low income and to businesses that were struggling during the COVID time. So those payments and grants that were given out have been causing a lot of inflation in our economy in the last 2 years. And as we look at it today, inflation is still very high. The rates have gone up quite a bit to control that inflation, but it's still not bringing it down to the levels of 2% that they want it to be. So they will most likely keep these rates here for a very, very long time. And if you look at our Canadian government's spending, they haven't really toned it down. So going into 2024, we do expect to see more spending. And we do expect to see that having a more effect on the inflation and making it might not go higher, but it'll struggle to get down to the levels that they want it to be at 2%. And as discussed in many, many videos I've made before, the Canadian government main concern is inflation. They will keep the rates higher if they have to, just to control that inflation, because inflation destroys our overall economy. Also, the provision Scotiabank is making for loan losses has skyrocketed. In the fourth quarter of 2022, Scotiabank put aside $500 million for any losses going into the next year of 2023. Then we're talking mortgage losses, personal loans, car loans, things like that, lines of credits. So Scotiabank did expect a lot of people to struggle with that, so they put the money aside, which is very responsible of them, to keep that money aside to pay off those bad debts. Today, the fourth quarter of 2023, Scotiabank has put aside $1.3 billion for bad loans. And these are mortgages, car loans, lines of credits, debt consolidation loans, any kind of personal loans people have taken. People are falling behind on all their payments, on credit cards and car loan payments especially. So they've raised their amount of losses. So when the banks are doing that, they have to do a lot of analysis. 2024 is looking to be a year that's going to cause a lot of struggle for a lot of people. Now, with these rates being high, businesses are slowing down. A lot of people are starting to get laid off. And when we see that in the marketplace, we're starting to see it in the front lines. And what I mean by the front lines is the real estate inventory. Now, inventory is 30% higher this year than last year. So we have 38% more homes in the market than we did last year at this time. Also, sales are down 15%. So inventory is rising and sales are falling. And we don't need to get into too much detail of that. We know why. The rates are higher. People don't qualify. And people who own homes, their mortgage payments have gotten too high and they're being forced to sell. So these rates, as we see, they may fluctuate. We might go down by a quarter point. We might go up by a quarter point. We might go up by 0.1, down by 0.1 as the bond market fluctuates, but we don't see any major decline coming in the rates. And the reason why we report that is we want you to be prepared. Power of sales are skyrocketing. Month over month, we're getting more and more power of sales come into the market. And remember, by the end of this year, less than 50% of the people who have mortgages have renewed into the higher rates. So I would say it's about 47% of the people will have renewed by end of this year into higher rates. And we're already seeing power of sales skyrocketing. Now, if you're in a situation where you're struggling to pay your mortgage, we always say that reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. I've talked to a few other people. We've listed their homes, and we're hopefully going to be able to get them out in the time before the bank takes over their home, and then they will incur massive losses because the banks put on all kinds of charges, all their legal fees, their realtor fees, their appraiser fees. Everything will be passed on to you, and whatever's left will be given to you. So keep that in mind. The expectation for next year in 2024 is further price declines. We expect the inventory to go up. We expect it to be harder for people to keep their homes. And one last thing I want to talk about too is the carbon tax. The carbon tax is taking effect. Your gas bill is going to be going up at the end of this year, and it's going to be going up quite a bit next year. So, and your property tax is going to be going up next year. So everybody is kind of, renewing their mortgage, higher payments, higher property taxes, higher utility bills, higher loan payments, and it's taking a toll on the economy, and jobs are starting to decline. Companies are slowing down, the economy is slowing down, and that's what the government wants. They want everything to slow down so they can get that inflation rate back to 2%. So they will do whatever they have to do to get it at 2%. If they're going to cause job losses, and remember, when you cause a job loss, if two people are working in the home and they bought a home based off of two incomes, when one person loses a job, it is devastating. If they're not able to find a job within 3 months, it can lead to, severe hardship and possible foreclosure of the home or being forced to sell it yourself. So guys, it's real estate with Raza. Not a lot has changed in the market. Not a lot has changed in the economy. We're pretty much where we were when we last discussed in our video. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for 2024. And remember, by the end of 2024, 67% of people will have renewed into the higher rates. So we're seeing this much trouble right now in the economy based on about 47% people who've renewed into higher rates and are having a hard time affording it. Add another 20% next year who are going to renew into the higher rates. So it's the environment, the economy, economic outlook is looking like it's going to slow down. Is it the end of the world? No, but this is something for you to know. Hardship is on the way. You have to manage it. You have to learn how to survive in it. If you need to let go of an investment property or let go of your current home to move into a smaller property, it is better for you to do it so you make the decisions on your terms, on your time, and you don't have someone else make it for you. Again, guys, it's Real Estate with Raza. You can reach out anytime, 416-995-7317, and we would love to help you out. Until next time, you have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.